Just saw Nvision beat Bulldogs in the first game of their best of 3. This is the initial opener of the promotion relegation tournament. So, if Nvision win here, they have got 1 win out of 2 needed to promote themselves to the UKLC. If the opposite happens to Bulldogs, it's 1 loss out of 2 where they end up failing to make it back.
And that's the big thing, is that today, if Nvision and E9 end up winning, those will be the 2 teams that, well, one of them will go to the UKLC, and it means that one of our UKLC teams is guaranteed out. So that's why it's a big thing, is that Bulldogs or Nvision or any of the teams, they want to win this game because it makes tomorrow very intense for them if they lose it.
So brief recap, if you didn't catch the last game, essentially there was an Infernal Dragon fight. And Bulldogs they were in a commanding position. If they took their fight on even turn, I think they were in a commanding position. I think they hit their power spikes.
I think they had a lead, but I do gotta feel like even before that we see 3 ganks, only one of which succeed in the early game. Like defensive play from Nvision, the punish on mid lane where Infinity gets a double kill. Like already, I think before that there were moments where you see Nvision perform. But I gotta agree with you.
I think in terms of power points of their champions, they were in a better position to team fight. I think because you saw, if you watch the team fight, essentially their Aatrox joined the team fight because of teleport delay, and he was already too late. And that was one of the major issues. Also the fact that Calwood was split completely from the team fight retreat.
And crucially, the Elise and the Kai'Sa were, as you said, 30% HP before anything really happened. I think it doesn't matter. I mean, even if they were like 5,000 gold ahead at that point, which they weren't, they still would have lost that team fight if they played it that way. And I think that's where the crucial error came in. And that really was the turning point of the game.
And if you go back and look at that team fight, when we saw Egospeed actually join the fight, he basically got most of Nvision down to about, what, a 5th HP or below?
Yeah, or less.
1v4, essentially. If he'd been there from the start, Bulldogs could have won that fight and potentially snowballed the game. It was all hinged on that one fight, and unfortunately, when you're going up against a composition that scales the way that Nvision's did, you just lose at that point.
Yeah. So, we see this first game, right? And we talk about Nvision, they're a team that takes it later. We see Brelia not really be relevant before the 50-minute mark, and then once he joins, every single team fight seemed to go the way of Nvision. And Bulldog coming out with a really strong, aggressive composition where they can take control of the early game, and they're not really sticking the landing, as you say, mainly coming down to that big team fight there at the Infernal Drake. So going into the draft for the second game, what do you guys feel like Bulldog need to do to get back into this best of 3?
Ban Aurelia, ban Vladimir.
I feel like get rid of the Xayah Rakan, because I think if you had a different support other than Rakan in that 2v2 bot lane, and that 3v2 bot lane, that game would be completely different because so many ganks failed because UK Meal Deal just wasn't able to be picked off. He had all that mobility because not many supports can match that level of mobility and safety that Rakan has.
He's also like, UK Meal Deal is a legit Rakan player as well.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's one of his best support champions.
I think because I think you're always going to have issues with the top side because Borrelia always has some power picks to play. But I think you can get rid of the comfort for bot lane.
The Bulldogs have brought the heavyweight in for this game, by the way. They've subbed out Egospeed and they've brought in Tilium. So Tilium's coming in the top lane for Bulldogs. A lot of people argue about these 2 top lanes. I personally think Tilium's better. Just on an overall level, I think Tilium's better. And maybe this will give them a bit more power in terms of that 1v1 matchup against Borrelia.
I'm also really looking towards the jungle matchup because while we did see Canal able to find that first blood and able to find some subsequent kills, it wasn't really the all-around snowball that we were looking for from the Elise. Whereas Infinity's phase rush Kha'Zix, like when you think of phase rush Kha'Zix, I don't think of the Kha'Zix that jumps into the enemy backline without even a second thought, but that's what he did.
Yeah, and he made it work, and I think the big thing was a lot of targeted TC coming out from Bulldogs. There was the ult from the Nautilus, but that was the one thing they had to really shut down the Kha'Zix, and he just used the invisibility so well that there wasn't really a chance to do that. Would you see the bans come out quickly? The Akali is the change here, is now being banned away from Bulldogs. Same sides as last game, so no changes there. And happy to see the Rakan being taken away from their bot lane. So if they want to go for a similar plan where they put pressure on Nvision's bot lane, it is going to be easier.
So we'll see that the final ban is going to be the Rek'Sai. There are less targeted jungle bans this time around because of the Rakan ban coming through. We'll see what is picked here for Bulldog. They've got plenty of options on the table. I think there's plenty of power picks available right now as well. We'll see what they decide to lock in.
I would love to see a Ryze first pick. It's really strong, it's really popular. And the thing is, if you give Borrelia the Vladimir, Ryze wins that matchup hard. If you're confident that you can play it, you will come out ahead.
Silas also a big MSI contested
I don't
pick.
think it's a bad shout.
Also, Silas, this is the patch where Silas got buff, right? On 9.9, he got a little bit buff to his Kingslayer, meaning that, like you said, he's already fairly high contention in pick and ban at MSI, which is 9.8, so he didn't even get the base damage buff. And once again, Nvision said, well, you're not betting Vlad?
You can steal the Vladimir ultimate, you know? You've got a Vladimir ultimate to work with in a team fight too. I mean, that's why I love Silas. He's so adaptable. He can really be top mid. He can go into lots of different team compositions. He was also banned in the previous game as well. Nvision banned the Silas away in first rotation. The fact is we're now seeing a Morgana lock-in. I would actually, if Talium's comfortable playing Silas top, or Ryze top rather, I would love to see the Ryze here.
I would love it. It gives you a flex in both lanes, and the Ryze is such a good matchup into the Vladimir. You have the early pressure, and he doesn't really massively outscale you in the side lane, and it means your 1v1 would be so strong. They are going to pick up the Kai'Sa though. I wonder what they'll take support, because I feel like Nautilus into Morgana isn't as free of a matchup. They will go for that Jarvan. Did have some slight nerfs in this patch, but to be honest, I think he's still fine. He is more of a level 2 jungler, but he's still good at level 3.
I think what we overlooked with Jarvan is that he was never really picked for level 2 skirmishing. He was really picked for level 2 ganking. Yeah. But not many people level 2 gank with Jarvan anyway. Jarvan still provides absolute engage potential and has easy ganks to make happen as well. So that's something that can never really be overlooked with Jarvan. His shield did get cut pretty hard, but realistically, he's still Jarvan on the tin, right?
Yeah, and realistically, it's only going to affect you if you max the W second. It's hitting that build. If you are going towards the E max second, it's not going to hit you as hard. Did get second on the cooldown for that. Not a massive deal. His clear is still solid. And this goes fly over. So this is interesting, is that Nvision aren't certain it's a Jarvan jungle. We've gone pretty heavy that we think it's a Jarvan jungle, at least I definitely am. But they're banning away that Kindred because they are not certain that is the case.
Well, I think you've got to, when you have a Vladimir top and you know the Vladimir is going top, you always have to respect the Jarvan top into it, because a little bit like Kennen, Ryze, or whatever, your engage potential, you can force the pool out just by going in, and then you have the ability to combo with the jungler and put pressure on him. Any gap closer versus a Vladimir is going to be struggling.
I think the greatest thing ever was Kerberos, was he was saying, you know, I think Vlad's actually pretty good into Jarvan, even though every time I've played it in competitive, I've inted. I'm like,
That is
not sure that's how it works.
That is very confident, though.
Yeah,
I don't dislike that.
So he's just basically saying that he misplayed it, but Borrelia is very solid on Vladimir.
Look at that. That is interesting to me.
Kha'Zix being banned out by the side of Nvision.
Morgana jungle, cooling it right now.
Yeah, oh, Lucian mid as well.
Yes,
Are we
exactly.
doing that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you see. The
I'm
brain.
not sure about
No,
that.
but so they're
I'm on
really...
the council, right? Big brain player.
We know you are. Faceless. I could, yeah, Morgana jungle. That's right up in my wheelhouse. Not gonna lie. Yeah. The counter pick is available for Nvision, and like you said, Nvision, they really don't expect this Jarvan to go into jungle, because if you throw 2 more jungle bans that way, and we keep talking about the jungle, but just maybe we're going to see Borrelia switch as well, because while he is really good in Vlad, it's not the only champion he plays as the Hecarim gets picked up.
I really like this, and I actually think that might be a Morgana mid. Reason being is that Infinity, you know how he hovered Thresh, then went to Morgana? That's an old trick. What you do is you cover supports, then you switch to something that's a flex, and so you make the other team think, oh, they're playing Morgana support. It may well be mid. They may be waiting for a good pick to use as a counter, but I feel like Bulldog aren't even phased. They're looking at the Galio, and Galio Jarvan is such a strong combo.
But they go for the Braum.
They go for the Braum instead, which I feel like now the Morgana is going to do pretty good in that matchup, but it does deny that Lucian Braum, so there is that favorable aspect of it, because if you went something that's good, because a lot of enchanters are going to Morgana, because they can just pop a shield, that would get really brutalized by a Braum Lucian.
It's going to be the Illaoi for, I guess, Talium. I can't really see Illaoi going into any other matchup here. So Illaoi for Talium, that's going to be Coward playing the Silas mid, and I can only imagine then it is going to be Canal playing the Jarvan in the jungle. And now you are Nvision, you're saying, okay, we've got an Illaoi to deal with. What do you make of Illaoi? Because Illaoi is one of those one-trick champions. When you see someone lock in Illaoi with lots of games in solo queue, you're like, I'm going to lose. But realistically, I think she's a bit of an awkward pick to make work.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think she's going to do pretty good in the early pressure against Vladimir. I know Talium loves the champion. Yeah. And if you can find yourself in the backline of Nvision, he is going to do a lot of damage, but she's a bit unwieldy. She doesn't have that much mobility to get there. And it's kind of one of those situations where your ideal situation is Jarvan ult, and you and the entire enemy team is inside that, but you can't just hope for that to always be the case.
You need the 5-man Jarvan ult
like
into the 5-man
everyone on
Illaoi
top
ult.
of the Cataclysm, then you throw the Hemo Plague that Colwood steals right on top of there.
I mean, that's your
and
dream.
then Illaoi comes in. But We see here that once again, Nvision last time, the combination of Azir, the wave clear provided, combined with just the team fighting threat from Vladimir has been picked up once again. Now, you have Hakarim who, like Kha'Zix, his early game isn't amazing, but if he gets to level 6, he's able to get that onslaught of shadows. Still looking scary here.
Well, I think it does play into the way that Infinity played last game. Hekarim's clear speed is insane. Like, he's just got really, really, really good clear speed and clears every single jungle camp really well. So, a little bit like last game, Infinity wasn't too bothered about going for early ganks, and he has got a top laner and a mid laner where he's probably not going to want to go for early ganks. He's very likely to just say, fine, I will counter gank where I need to, otherwise I'm literally just going to be clearing. And
I think that's the big thing about taking the Morgana in the bot lane as well, and the Lucian, is those two are pretty safe. They can still do some skirmishing, but you have the Black Shield, you have the Relentless Pursuit, or more likely the Relentless Run Away from Lucian. So if that Jarvan gank comes in, as we saw all the ganking from last game from Kinol, I think they have the tools to sort of evade that and soak some of the pressure.
But when it comes to win conditions, I feel like their composition is exactly the same for Nvision.
No, they got their comfort again.
Like, you've got the two core parts of your team fight of the Vladimir and the Azir, which you have not changed. I think everything else was kind of interchangeable in that kind of composition. The only thing is that you're now replacing the Rakan lockup with the Hecarim lockup. So it works the same way for me.
Yeah.
Gotta agree with you there. Thank you, Orcs. That's very nice of you. Glad to. You guys can't see this, but I'm hugging Orcs right now.
I would hug Orcs as well. We're jumping into game, by the way.
We get into the second and possibly the final game between these two teams as Bulldog not looking too hot in game one. The early game looking good, but then one crucial objective lost, and then afterwards it's up to Nvision as they take control. We're going to see a repeat of that here because once again the Vladimir and the Azir are there. And Bulldog, like you said, Orcs, they can lose too, but I gotta imagine they'd really rather not.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing to note is I do feel like the Alawi won't have as much early pressure as the Aatrox, but in terms of split push later on, I think that's a much more clear win condition for Bulldog because Vlad, although he's going to get strong, although he's going to be a great team fighter, I just don't feel like he's going to have the damage to cut through Togium, especially with the amount of healing that the Alawi gets.
Yeah, Alawi is just one of those picks that can build beefy, and because of the pure base damages that she's got with her abilities, it's almost impossible to kill her in certain scenarios. And she's got so much sustain built into her kit too. And we know that Talium likes to play Alawi to a very high level also. I much prefer the fact that Bulldog's composition actually also scales well too. And you don't even have to worry about pure Vladimir because, you know, late game Calwood, you can probably get your ultimate stealing potential down to 9 seconds where you can steal multiple ultimates in a team fight, steal the Vladimir ultimate, steal the Hecarim ultimate in one team fight. It's insane.
And that's the thing crucially as well is that, yes, there are more scaling elements to Bulldog, but also less to Nvision. They still have that Vladimir and that Azir who are going to be monsters later on, but Lucian, Morgana isn't quite Zyra Khan when it comes to those mid-late game team fights. So I think there are more hopes for Bulldog in the later stages, but on the other side, you do see a Hecarim with Ignite. Once he hits level 3, he is going to have some pretty strong skirmishing power if he finds the ability to make a gank happen.
We see once again, by the way, that Kanal is going straight from buff to buff. So perhaps once again going to be looking for an early gank, although he is now on his own Gromp.
I don't think you get level 3 from red, blue Gromp. So I'm guessing he's just going to be waiting for the River Scuttler to spawn. But I don't
That's a minute and a half away.
Yeah, okay, well, I don't know.
45 seconds.
45, sorry.
So, yeah, I don't know what he's doing. Maybe looking for a...
I know what he's doing. He's going to look for those Krugs, but this is a bit unfortunate because a full clear... I mean, this is exactly what Infinity did last game. He did a full clear on his red side, went over to his blue side, and Cornell tries to be smart, tries to find him out, but in the end won't. But now he's looking for a level 2 gank in the mid lane.
Still only level 2, will not be able to hit the flag and drag.
Did he miss the flag and drag?
He missed the flag and drag as Calwood goes in with Abscon and Abduct, and that's a nice knockup. But if you don't get the initial one, and now Canal, he's going to be able to pick up this topside Scuttler, but besides that, I think he's going to be so far behind Infinity here.
Oh, but pure pathing-wise, he's literally put himself miles behind.
And I think he realized when he went into the red side jungle of Infinity that his early game hadn't gone great, but he went, okay, I can gank mid lane, I can make this back, get some summoners at least from 3z3. Then he messed up the combo, and now I think he's positioning to look for a gank again. He's going very hard on 3z3 here. He is positioning there. There's nothing for him to get. He's just waiting for a gank opportunity. Will he find it this time? Will he be able to land it?
Frieza Free still playing defensive, doesn't even have to use his summoners. Once again, he's so safe in that lane, and while this is happening, Infinity has the Ignite available as well. He's going to wait for Canal here.
Oh, no, he's just going to
He sees it.
Does get checked there, but I don't even know if they can really contest this here.
The red side jungle is so stacked in terms of experience. If Infinity manages to steal away that as well.
Nice sidestep there, making sure not to get hit by the Abduct. Does get tagged there by Vortic, but will be able to make it out as the flag and wreck does not hit him
no flash on
crucially.
Infinity.
They're going to go on top of him, and they will be able to find the first buff. Doesn't even use the Ignite, and in the very end, still an advantage found for Bulldogs.
A little bit over-aggressive from Infinity, but it finally pays off for Canal because you're not taking the Ghost or the Flash here. If you can catch the Hecarim early game in a flag and drag combo, and you have that comboed with a laner, you've essentially secured yourself a kill.
Absolutely.
But Koki gets taken
very
incredibly low here. Will not go down. The timing just barely tags him. But we see completely different storing developing here in the bot lane as Spark and Yukimildil are just putting on the pressure here.
I mean, it just says to me that they are the stronger 2v2 because even with all those ganks coming in game one, Bulldogs, they've got an advantage in terms of CS and 1 kill, but that was about it. But now, Nvision's bot lane are just running away. They've already got 2 plates at 5 minutes in. Well, not quite, but they should get out on this next wave. That's a ton of gold. They have an 18 CS lead. Nvision's just taken over in the bot lane. And the only saving grace is that Infinity did go over aggressive. I was going to say that the red side jungle has so much more XP than the blue side. So if Canal lost those 2 crucial camps, the Raptors and the Krugs, it could have been really dire. But he did manage to save it, managed to smite away the big Raptor, and then get that kill in return onto his mid laner. But still, the bot lane is in dire straits for Bulldogs.
Have a look at the mid lane though. Calwood was slightly ahead of 3Z3. They're looking for a gank onto Calwood. He has burned that flash. They're going to go in. That's the ultimate burn already.
It's still 1v2 though, and Calwood does get tagged by the Igniter, and I'm not sure whether or not going in there was the right call. One more auto attack, and he does find it as 3Z3 flashes after him.
So Infinity wasn't there to gank. He was just there to shove the wave in, and then Calwood got so overconfident and thought, hey, I can steal a Hecarim ult.
And Canal gets spotted there, because you got to imagine if Infinity walks in there without mana. But now the blue buff transfer once again coming through, as it's now back on 3Z3.
Oh, he's going to...
Oh, he gets it!
Absolutely slammed!
Just killed Relia. Relia went to get the ult off before he went for the pool. Got shut down there by Tolium, and this is what we're talking about. A win condition for Bulldog in the late stages. That split push on that Alawi is going to be huge, and they need that, especially considering how things have gone a bit shaky in the mid and bot lanes.
Crucially, Brilliant also flashed there trying to keep himself alive for longer. But in the end, even with that, I do feel like I'm really impressed by Nvision as they once again take damage. This is a risky red buff take that they're trying to go for. Will get spotted out, and Canal probably going to make it out here. Don't know if they really want to commit. Takes the blast cone, but Infinity now crucially hits level 6, and Canal, besides that one gank on an overextended Infinity, hasn't really been able to make his mark on the early game here. Now 7 minutes in, we do see a gold lead for Bulldogs. And you got to credit Talium for that 1v1 outplay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of what we talked about as when they sub Talium in. We know Talium's got this potential to put pressure on Brillia in the early game. I mean, you pick Vladimir into any matchup in the blind, you're asking to get punished, right? And so no one was able to punish him. Ego Speed couldn't really find that advantage. Talium definitely can. And he's now in a situation where he's got a 10 CS advantage. He's working up towards his first item.
And crucially, with him running Kleptomancy as well, he's going to have a lot of gold generation from that. So this side lane matchup could spiral out of control, but I like to see what Nvision are going for now. They're heading towards this dragon. They know their bot side of the map is stronger. They have the control. And this Hecarim, now level 6, is much more confident to make plays like this.
I like this, though, from Nvision. I think that you need to utilize the strength that you've got on the map. There's no point playing topside. I think you need to push bot. You need to look for potential bot lane dives, or you just need to take those plates and rotate top and secure Rift Herald.
Next second, crucially, will be that Infernal Drake. And you got to say, for an early Ocean Drake is really going to be nice for Nvision. You're able to keep them topped off in the lane and have a little bit more mana. Also, freeze up free. This is still the first blue buff that was on him, just because it got kind of ping-ponged between all the laners.
Which is a great situation to be in, especially on someone who's as mana hungry as the Azir. Buff, just so confident here. And that's the thing, is that this Lucian feels so unthreatened by the Braum.
And see the Jarvan coming down. I think they want to try and bait him in, though, as Hecarim is waiting on the sidelines. Jarvan can find the gank here, and Hecarim finds a counter gank. That's fantastic for Nvision.
Yeah, and you can see Infinity waiting on the wings. One of the big disadvantages of Jarvan, if summoners are up, your Cataclysm most likely will just be flashed out of him. UK Media gonna walk up.
He's
this could be
baiting
it is a bait.
They're definitely baiting, and there comes the Dark Binding, but I do feel like Bulldog, they kind of know that something is awry.
Yeah.
As soon as UK Milder steps forward there, you know that Infinity has got to be somewhere, even with no vision whatsoever for them in the bot side jungle.
Made a good call, backed off, and lived to fight another day, but still in dire straits for that bot lane.
Coward for me is the big kind of, well, both the solo laners, to be honest. Tillium and Coward right now are the ones that are popping off for Bulldog. They're actually giving them the majority of this gold lead right now. You can see already Canal heading back down towards this bot lane. Are they going to greed? They're going to greed for that plate. That might have ended up killing them.
And there comes the Black Shield and the Flash. Relentless Pursuit, making sure to get out. And there is the Flash. Defensive play. Canal does not find the next. The Soul Shackles comes down, and Spark still alive. But he doesn't
he
take
gets
it down.
the kill!
But he gets the return kill. Impeccable play there for Nvision. And Bulldog, as soon as they force out all those summoners, keep trying to make it work. And it's a 1-for-1 trade.
I'm just going to say, I think that was really badly played by Quinal. I think he went in with the EQ. He was in range to start attacking either Spark or UK Meal Deal. But he instantly Cataclysmed. You know they both have flashes. You know they're just going to flash out. In fact, Spark didn't even need to. He just dashed out. And they just ended up burning the Cataclysm essentially for nothing. And now, Nvision, after trading one for one on the bot side, are going to look for something on Atolium. But if there's any champion who can 1v2, it is Alawi.
And I think Infinity knows Liam. He's confident that the Hemoplague does come down in. There comes the ultimate, but it's going to be enough. Are they going to be able to boost him down? Yes, they do. And Liam, you know that he's there.
The thing that comes in clutch was the Ignite from Infinity. It helped a lot in mid lane, but actually Canal might be looking. I don't think he really wins this one.
I don't think he won this fight, mate.
I think he does, as he does get taken down. Rampage coming through, fully stacked there. And with the blast coming, he will be able to get out, but Canal already got to give up his jungle here. I don't think he can go for that, as the Gromp will be taken by Infinity. And Nvision, last time we saw them play from behind, but now 10 minutes in, they have a slight gold lead, and they're the ones looking in control.
Absolutely, and it was just, again, a really solid gang from Infinity. The same thing happened mid lane. It's like, if you ignite, a lot of this survivability from this Alawi, from this Silas, is on their healing. The Ignite cuts it down, but right now, he is going to get caught out.
He's stolen the ultimate.
And we'll be able to use the Onslaught of Shadows and the Flash as well to make sure that he doesn't get hit by the Dark Binding. I don't think that would have hit either way, but doesn't want to take the risk. He gets out with his life, but again, Summoners used that for Bulldog, and Nvision are the ones setting the pace.
Irrespective of that, it was a steal of ultimate just to get out. It wasn't really a proactive ultimate steal. You've now got a position where Irelia is catching up in CS to Tillium. You've given a bit of time over to 3Z3 to close that CS gap. I mean, actually, this is looking pretty good for Nvision once more. You really felt that those solo laners were sort of starting to go down the drain, but Infinity has managed to turn things around. And
the big thing as well is that Spark is happy to essentially lane 1v2 against the Cat and Koki. He doesn't feel any pressure. He's confident in the solution. And so UK Meal Deal is able to walk about in this Morgana and apply pressure on the map with Infinity. Right now, Bulldog do shove the lane in. They are going to try and get some vision in the river, but you can see there's a lot more control coming out from the side of Nvision. They have more wards in Bulldog's side of the jungle. They are going to try and look for this opportunity to get the Rift Herald.
I think they'll get it. I don't think anybody on Nvision's going to be able to respond very easily here.
Yeah, and this is good timing. You play to the strong areas of the map for you, which for Bulldog are these solo lanes.
A little bit back and forth trading as Brelal sidesteps a lot, but still not going to be able to find the damage on Talimu. With Sterix Gauge first, there's plenty of survivability, and like you said, it's going to be so hard to chew through that Ilaoi. And the first game was decided by an Infernal Drake fight, and we got another Infernal Drake coming up soon, but the Rift Herald will be taken now by Nvision.
He's just doing this to clear the wave.
What else are you going to do? Not going to be able to keep your turret alive.
It's a good situation to be in for Tolium. He is going to be able to get that tower pretty soon, and in return, Nvision are potentially going to look to make a play around that Infernal Dragon. The question is going to be, will Bulldog be able to contest it? I feel like this could be risky, because you don't have the control in the area. The vision is set up, but actually they have that ward behind, so there is potential, but it may end up just being a steal for Canal. With no flash, it'll be a one-way ticket.
He gets
the
tagged
binding.
on, does find the binding, but can't find the smite as he tries to go in. Frieza free with a great stream of shuffle, making sure that the rest of the team is standing on top of them. But there is Corwood, who's able to steal the Emperor's Divide, but in the end, it's too little, too late. And what looked to be simple, just a simple steal, turns out in a 4-for-0 fight. Once again, it's the Infernal Drake fight for Nvision.
It's the same mistakes.
There was no reason for them to go with that fight. You did not have this setup. You were not in position where you were going to win that fight.
Liam.
Exactly, and they ended up using so much just to get in position to fight. They used the mobility on the Jarvan, and he was just trapped in the pit. It was, you don't need to fight every Infernal. You just really don't. And Bulldog, they could have made a play with a Rift Herald on the other side of the map. They could have potentially gotten 2 turrets. We'll see what happened in the team fight here.
Okay, so again, look at Bulldog's positioning. They are split up entirely. You can see 3 focusing onto 3Z3. He shuffles them back in. And then instead of turning onto Spark, who's by himself, they're like, let's get round the Azir ultimate and try and take on 3Z3. They could have basically turned around, landed a Winter's Bite onto Spark and tried to burst him down and maybe even the odds. The shuffle was brilliant.
I think the whole team fight was just a really questionable decision. I don't think there were many circumstances in which they're going to win that. And it's like, you either commit, or you're going to look for the dragon or the team fight. I don't think they're going to win the team fight, which went out why I was talking about the steal. Quinal could have looked for the steal over the wall, but instead, they went for both. And when you go for both, that's when things really get messy. And now, demanding lead coming out from Nvision, much more than they had at this point in the other game. UK Meal Deal will look for Calwood, but doesn't quite find it. But now the pressure is in their side. One saving grace for Bulldog is that Tolium didn't join that team fight, didn't end up dying, is on 2 items, and that Rift Herald still available to be used.
Talium's split push is definitely still a win condition that we can look towards here. He's got a small CS advantage.
He's got 2 items.
He's got 2 items now as well. I mean, this is genuinely something that could put pressure on the side lanes very easily.
But then if you put him in a 1v2, it's still going to be rough for him as he does a lot of damage, but I don't know if he can really chew through Spark. And UK Meal Deal, who does get tagged, needs to sidestep some tentacles there.
It's a very hard dive, I'll be honest though. He's actually a good member. Yeah, he's a good member to soak pressure because you can wave clear pretty effectively, and he is able to deal a lot of damage in a 1v2, but Engage comes
goes in. There is the streaming shuffle once again as Infinity tried to 1v1 the Kai'Sa. Won't be able to get him just yet, but with help from Frieza Free, will get taken down. There is the Glacial Fissure, but Canal and the Cat are already so low. And now Talium comes in, has the ultimate available, but once again is not able to sustain back up as Nvision are just looking dominant in this game.
You saw one of the major issues with the Alawi pick right there. You get CC'd, you're done. Like, you get Morgana binded, you cannot close distances well enough.
Crucially as well, is that he missed the, I'm not sure what the ability is called, but the E. If you miss that, it really cuts your damage.
Single target damage is out the window at that point.
Yeah, it cuts it down so much. And that was the crucial point, is that Tolium had a bad team fight. Koki was cut off from the rest of his team, and then Infinity was just able to 1v1 him, soloed him out without any help from the Cat, and it just feels like right now, Bulldog, they are scattered, they are disjointed, and Nvision are running away with this game.
And if you look at this game, you're not surprised that Nvision were able to make their way into
you hate to see it. You hate to see.
The shame.
The shame Rift Herald.
Shame Shelley. Just making her way downtown as Corwood caught between a rock and a hard place, but flashes over the wall. To Liam, though, he's still there. The teleport has been committed. Unfortunately, can't cancel that anymore as he once again gets taken down. Shelley gets greeted warmly by the entirety of Nvision as Brelia. We've seen him do this so many times on the Vlad, and it just goes off by his own, threatens everyone who dares to come close to him. And I gotta say, Nvision looking in firm control as 17 minutes into the game. A 6k gold advantage, 2 dragons up. That Rift Herald play that we talked about didn't find anything whatsoever. And Bulldog, they're not fighting for their life quite yet, but if they drop down to the lower bracket, it's gonna be a big fight for them.
Ego speed was the problem, by the way.
Yeah, it just feels like this team on the same page. I mean, they throw the Rift Herald down at that super late stage. It's essentially going to get nothing. Calwood is overextended. They start to collapse him, and then Tolium TP's in just to die. It just feels like there's no coordination.
I noticed that you're sounding a little bit down as well, Orcs. You're like...
It's sad to see, but credit to Nvision. They are really running away with this game, and they seem like a solid team. And I'm not just saying there are 5 players who are playing well. They seem like they are playing well together. The coordination is there, and crucially, they're playing to their win conditions.
And We see that Bulldogs in the last game, they had a lead, they weren't able to maintain it here. It goes wrong much earlier in the game as another Dragon is probably going to get taken here by Nvision. And to me now the question is, what do Bulldog need to do to keep their dreams of that upper bracket alive as Liam?
Pray.
Is that really the only answer at Challenge?
I mean, okay, look, you still have Tillium, who's able to push side lanes. They look like they're committing to the 1-3-1. Calwood is very far behind, but realistically, he's still a Silas. You still have crazy sustain. You still have the ability to maybe find some clutch outplays. But I actually just think, again, you've given scaling to the scaling comp.
Yeah, I think the win condition for me, because I'm not even sure if they have the pressure in the side lane that they can find. I think they have to wait for the Nvision to either overstep with a dive or to go for a Baron and look for a team fight them. Tullium gonna look for something here, but the healing pretty strong from Relay, and he's gonna burn that Sterax without really committing much at all.
And this is called the problem with the Vladimir. Even if you are able to get some favorable trades, you're just gonna sustain right back up as Nvision march down the mid lane. Canal also going for a tankier build, meaning that he will be able to stay alive for just a little bit longer, but won't have the ability to just 100-0 someone here.
But I mean, just look at the items difference between the junglers. You have the full jungle item on both, and
It's
then
a
the Triforce versus a Kindle Gem. It's so favored towards Nvision right now. They are so strong, and they're going to group in the lane with Tullium. They might look for a dive here, and I did say if they overdive, they could lose. But honestly, when they're this far ahead, I feel like there's very little risk.
And they can't engage onto 3z3 in such a small choke point.
No, I mean, 3z3 is so far ahead on this Azir right now. I mean, you box people in to anything, these Azir soldiers are going to just absolutely mince you, and that's where the CC comes in from Affinity. They are going to push on to this inhibitor turret now. I genuinely don't know what Bulldog can do here. They're going to go for the return Vladimir ultimate.
And everyone stays alive, a bit of damage. Bralia flashes forward, goes for the 4-man Hemo Plague, and he will get taken down there at the very end. The shutdown comes through for Liam. Spark, though, finds the return kills. Infinity is off on his own, taking down Koki. Will be able to sustain back up. It's not the cleanest of plays, but 3 people down for Bulldog as the pony gallops away. And the Baron seems to be on the table.
That could have been a team fight win for Bulldog, but the coordination wasn't there. Koki ulted away to Infinity solo, and there was no way you're going to win that 1v1. They were way too split, and once again, Bulldog, they find a potential opportunity, but the lack of coordination will be their downfall.
Colwood, nice dodge there with the Ipscon Abduct, maybe looking after UK Milder, but does not find the second activation, no stun for him. Crucially though, the inhibitor does not go down yet, so Bulldog, they're still clinching to this game, but the goal advantage now, 8k for Nvision.
Almost 10. I mean, you're 1,000, it's 9,000.
Yeah.
You're almost 1,000 away from having that 10k gold lead, and very few teams can come back from a 10k gold disadvantage. You know, especially at this level of play, it's so easy to push things together, and especially when you've got a composition that is so easy to execute on with a Vladimir. Like Vladimir, you push a button and win the game. It's press R, win game.
It doesn't even have death cap yet.
I know, and that's when it's going to get even worse for them.
There is the one thing. If Vladimir does miss the ult, that is the one thing that could happen.
I don't know.
I love your optimism.
You can't miss Karthasol, you can miss Vladimir.
And an empowered E kind of hurts as well on Vladimir late game.
You aren't wrong with that one. So definitely in the favor of Nvision. They are going to start to get control of this Baron area. And again, this is my other potential win condition for Bulldog. It's slim. It's not looking good for them, but if Nvision get trapped in that Baron pit, maybe Bulldog can pull out the miracle team fight. There is still a ward showing them in that area.
There's plenty of vision. If they want to go for a clear, Infinity use a devastating charge, but no one steps too far forward. And like you said, even with a goal disadvantage, Baron has broken so many teams, no matter how far ahead they are, as we see there. Ward standing there, meaning that there is a teleport available for Liam. Once he gets it, but Koki and the Cat are trying to push on, and Infinity just shreds through him in a matter of seconds, takes some 2 members by his own. That's Freeze at 3, and the rest of them, you can be able to find a kill on Liam. There is the kill though, and Koki does find a good team fight, but in the end, it's not enough as Colwood, Canal, and Liam get shredded once again, and Infinity bit off a butt more than he could chew, but the rest of his team firmly got his back.
I mean, what he was doing was zoning away 2 of the huge team fight players in terms of the Braum and the Kaiser.
All you were left with was the 0-5 Jarvan, who's
Yeah.
full tank. The 1-3 Silas, who did his best but wasn't able to keep up with the Azir, who's a monster. And the Alawi, who got shut down very quickly in that team fight. And Nvision, once again, in complete control of this game. Massive 10,000 gold lead with that Baron. things looking very dire for Bulldogs right now.
And they've got an open inhibitor to work with in the bot lane. I mean, you could just shove that down as a 5, and if Bulldog want to defend it, they probably just lose.
I'm not a fan of, drawing easy conclusions, but I gotta say, if you're a team looking at this match, if you're either E9 or Darkspawn, you look in the game tomorrow, I gotta say that Vladimir and that Azir, I can't imagine that we're going to see more of those because consistently Nvision seem to be able to make them work.
Well, the Aurelia is a target ban to Brelia, I think, specifically.
Yeah.
And the Karthus, I guess, is versus Infinity. So
I feel like that's the issue, is that you're limited with bans. I feel like what I would prefer to see is them taking good matchups into it, because that Ryze was available. And you may be able to say, well, Tolium doesn't play Ryze, but that is on you to make sure that you are able to play that, because it's one of the strongest picks right now, and the ability to flex it is huge. They didn't pick it up. It was untouched. And that's what I'd like to see from either E9 or Darkspawn if they go up against Nvision, to take a Vladimir up against that, to take a Ryze up against that Vladimir.
Sanguine Pool means that, unfortunately, for Coward, he does not find the stun. Red buff might get taken here, but you got to say, when red buff getting taken for your team is one of the highlights in the last few minutes, that is not looking too good. UK Meal does get tagged there, will take a little bit of damage, but gets out before sustaining too much, as now we see the Baron waves crashing onto the top side. Infinity, though, not anywhere near, and if Canal can find a big engagement here, this might be an overextension. Spark trying to get away. There is the Cataclysm. The Streamer Shuffle only fights a single person as Koki goes in with the Killer Instinct. Freeze up, Freeze still alive and doing a lot of damage, but Koki's still alive, and Yuka Mield on his own can't really do anything. While this is happening, there comes Infinity trying to go for the big finish. As Brelia and Tolium are fighting in the bot lane. Look at the sustain! Doesn't find it at the end, as Koki and Coward are two of the strongest members from Bulldogs. And this is an overextension, the first big one we've seen from Nvision, but they still get away with the inhibitor.
But they still get picks out of it. They still get kills. They're going to go for Brelia here. It looks like they're teleporting in. Can Brelia keep himself safe? The home guards on Coward now chasing him down.
And goes as the Sanguine Pool, and the Blascom Tolium flashes after him.
Not sure about that one, but they do chase Brelia off. Crucially, that was the team fight that Bulldog needed. They got a lot of shutdown gold there, but still a massive gold discrepancy on the side of Nvision. But Baron buffs. Baron buffs were taken off the table. They got a ton of shutdown gold from that Azir, from that Hecarim, from that Lucian. It wasn't a clean team fight. Definitely wasn't a great one, but they managed to get what they want, and crucially, just an overextension from Nvision. They were overconfident,
Infinity
and they were punished.
Even there.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
If Infinity was there, he probably could have broken that team fight up with the CC, and that would have allowed 3Z3 to get
he
more
almost
soldier hits in.
And Borrelia had TP, and just, I know the call was go for the inhibitor, but I feel like if Infinity was there and the TP came in, they won that hands down.
Neildil has forced a flash because the Jarvan combo came through. Did have the Black Shield, but he didn't want to get caught out by anything else. I feel like going for this weird split push strategy for Nvision, you don't need to do it. Like, just group up and push. You have tower dive potential. You're much, much stronger. Maybe you're slightly worried about the fact that Koki is now 3-item Kai'Sa, but you've got a 3-item Vladimir.
You saw how much the Hecarim, I'm not going to say Hecarim's the strongest person in the game right now, because he just isn't. But the Hecarim was so hard for Bulldog to deal with. Imagine if Brelia was there as well. That team fight was just won, without a doubt. If Infinity and Brelia had gotten that team fight earlier, they won that season now.
Tolium, why are you standing so far forward? Gets taken down.
With the tentacle!
But there we go, a final kill on Yuki Meal. Means that this push might be stifled once again. As Bulldog, they're clinging on, but Nvision are having none of it.
They're still going for it. Sorry, the orc screaming tentacle just made me laugh.
Tentacle! Who finds it? And they did. They're still pushing, though. They have the open inhibitor. And UK Mealdy, he's nowhere near, but Nvision, are they pushing a little bit too hard here? They really want to make use of this minion wave here.
Oh, that's the Hecarim ultimate coming out.
And Hakawa goes in with the Onslaught of Shadows. No one dead yet. Freezer Free gets taken out once again by Koki, who's an absolute beast. But the backline gets taken down. And crucially, Brelia still alive. Infinity dives in. He's pretty much full health. Spark is there.
Goodbye, mate.
And there is Infinity. This time, 4v5.
Look how different that team fight goes when the Hecarim and the Vladimir are there. Even with the support not available, they're just so strong. Bulldog cannot handle them, and they will fall in this best of 3 against Nvision.
This is a spicy start to the promos and relegations of the Forge Champions in UKLC. We have one of our UKLC teams, the 8th place Bulldog, getting 2-0'd by Nvision.
And Infinity is a sub Like, he was not their usual play. They play with Noodle in Forge of Champions. He came in last second. And you got to be impressed by the entirety of Nvision.
Yeah.
The guy looks solid. He was I think he was one of the major win conditions for a lot of their team fights and the way the early game was.
That's the big thing as well, is that this was the first seed from the UKLC. You know, Bulldogs were the higher placed team compared to Darkspawn.
Oh, sorry, they were 7th, were they? I thought they were 8th for some reason.
And this was the worst placed team coming from the Forge of Champions, Nvision. So we thought this wouldn't be as close as the other. We thought this would be closer than the other series. We thought that E9 against Darkspawn would be more one-sided, and yet Nvision have 2-0'd this.
And can you imagine if after the first night of relegations here, we're going to have two UKLC teams face off tomorrow? Because that's a possibility.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves because we still have that matchup to go. E9 or Eichbu Brotherhood taking on Darkspawn. That'll be our next best of 3 series, but it is Nvision that beat Bulldogs. Now, what happens here is Nvision go to the winners bracket. They go to the winners bracket finals, essentially, and then we're going to see Bulldog drop down to the losers bracket. We are a double elimination. Bulldog are not out. They have not been relegated from the UKLC. They can still win if they then go on to win 2 series in a row. It is that crucial 2. If they lose the next series, they are gone. Dunzo, goodbye. They will not make it back into the UKLC.
Yeah, so definitely going to be a lot more tense. Tomorrow's match is going to be so much pressure for them because they know 1 loss. That's it. 1 loss in that series tomorrow, and they are out. Nvision had a great performance from then. We weren't sure what to expect because we felt like E9 came in very strong from yesterday. We weren't as sure about Nvision, but today absolutely dominated, and well-deserved victory for them.
It absolutely was, and I think we might have an MVP to talk about. Hopefully, we'll have something to talk about. I just want to press your guys' opinions. Who do you feel was MVP of this series?
I gotta say Infinity.
Yeah, because I think that on the Hakarim one, it's very clear, but on the Kazakhs game, I feel like that double kill that he got in mid with a nice counter gank, right? He really got him going, and then the combination of him and UK Meal carried a couple of crucial team fights.
I just think that we all know the historical truth. Better jungler wins. And, you know...
Better jungler gets the MVP as well, by the way. MVP was indeed Infinity from Nvision Esports. 5.3883 KDA. Huge impact.
Silhouette would that
and
be?
he looks like he's a silhouette of Magi Felix.
It does look like that, right?
Yeah, I think that's a fair call.
Maybe it's just,
I think production are laughing at me. I might get it right.
Maybe it's just actually...
No, but the reason we're
Infinity.
using silhouettes is because it's like in a game, you know the games you used to play where you haven't unlocked the character yet? He's not in the UKLC yet, so we haven't unlocked him.
There you go.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
So, production's telling me that they think I could be right. They're not sure either, but it did kind of look like a silhouette of Magi Felix.
It did look like his
looked like a silhouette of Magi Felix.
I think it would be.
Well,
Twitter.
he played like Magi Felix. He got the MVP award for this series.
Twitter, help us out. Hashtag Forge of Champions. Is this Magi Felix, yes or no?
That Magi? Who's that? Who's that Pokemon player? Is it Magi Felix? Yeah, well, anyway, so it's going to be Infinity taking the MVP award. That means we are now going to turn our eyes to the next series, and that's going to be Darkspawn taking on E9, who are actually Booth Brotherhood. I'm just going to call them Brotherhood or E9. We're going to call them E9 or Brotherhood, basically. It's a little bit hard for us non-Danish speakers to pronounce that name.
Dutch, right?
Yeah, but Dutch is like a similar kind of tone of language, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to cut to a quick break. When we're back, we'll be joining that best of 3 to see who goes on to face either side in the bracket.